welcome to the CX Live Dialogues. I'm delighted to have with us today Neil Barman, the GM and Business Head APAC at Kore.ai. Neil has 2 decades of experience in SaaS and direct-to-customer sales and marketing processes. He has led business across managing sales, marketing, and account management functions in IT services or IT product environments. He comes with a deep understanding of building sales and revenue generation functions in startups and scaling organizations across industries and regions. Apart from leading the growth function across APAC and MEA, for Kore.ai, he is one of the founding members of Sales Enablement Society in Malaysia and India, ambassador of Future Sales at APAC Community, as well as advisory board member to multiple startups in India, Malaysia, US, and the mentor to the entrepreneur cell of Bitsbilani, India. Thank you, Neil, for joining us today. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thanks for having me, Ayesha. Pleasure to be here.
Neil, we're obviously living in a world of complex CX as we see it. There's a lot of disparate, toolkits as well as technologies that organizations can adopt to excel in their CX imperative. In your opinion, what are the key components of a successful CX model in today's competitive landscape?
Yeah, you're very right. The way CX is evolving, and most of the factors that is impacting this evolution of CX are external. External in the sense, if you think about it, in the last 5 years, we have seen two major shift or two major waves that has come in. First one was brought in by the pandemic, and we started living a complete different experience renaissance. Everything, it altered everything. The way we communicate, the way we interact, the way we live. It kind of impacted everything, and that has an impact for the brands in the way the brands started structuring and designing CX. That took a major shift, or rather a pole jump shift from how it used to be 5 years back to how it is today. And then probably the most impactful one, which happened in the field of technology, was the emergence of generative AI. Now, for the last 18-24 months, with the emergence of generative AI, the way brands have now started adopting a Gen AI strategy in designing, implementing, and executing CX models have shifted quite a few yards than what it used to be. Some of the basic fundamentals remain same, like, for example, understanding or customer journey understanding and having an insights where you do maybe a deep understanding of customer needs, behaviors, preferences, pain points, how you analyze them, how you adopt customer feedback, what are the data capturing that you're doing in your market research. These data inputs were there. I mean, this is what has been in practice about 10 years back, is the same now. But the way it is getting adopted, the richness of the data, of course, has probably or definitely evolved. And the way brands are able to capture it, the timeline that the brands are using today, and using this data to do a personalization in their interaction, and the way they are able to anticipate customer needs and offer an experience to customers, that definitely has changed quite a lot, thanks to the behavioral shift that we had, human being as a race, because of the pandemic and the emergence of technology. So I think we are living in an age of seamless integration, where brands have the ability and the capacity to go omni-channel, and to give customers the experience on their preferred medium at their preferred time, in the preferred mode of communication that they prefer, whether it is personalized, hyper personalized, or it is generic. So I think it's a design shift in CX that has happened, and this proactive approach which brands are taking today, leveraging technology in enabling the ease of use and accessibility to customers. That is a model which is here to thrive.
Definitely. And in this dynamic landscape, in your view, what are the five best practices that are integral to building a value based customer experience?
See, the if I have to lay out the bedrock of CX, right? So your customer understanding, personalization, and omni-channel, or yeah, I would say multi-channel, omni-channel, however you call it, an omni-channel experience, proactivity or proactiveness in offering touch points, or ease of availability or continuous availability in front of customer, and then a cycle of continuous improvement. So these are the very five basics of customer experience or CX strategy that was always there as the basic framework. That remains the same. But where the shift has come in today is the way these interactions are getting tailored uh, to a more individual or a more hyper personalized way. The seamlessness in the experience across channels that's happening. How the brands are today addressing the customer needs proactively and preemptively. The more deeper insights into these customer needs, customer preferences, that brands are able to capture, analyze, and capitalize on them. I think these shifts are happening because the way technology is evolving and the way it is having an impact on experience. I think that's that's quite a new age adoption, or a new age framework of CX which we are seeing today. So I think driving business success is going to be very highly dependent on aligning to these offerings, which should match up with customer expectations, and that will foster a long-term successful CX strategy for the brands.
Certainly. Now, of course, with everything else, the challenge is how do you ensure the consistency in delivering outstanding customer experience around various touch points with your brand? How would you think organizations can manage this?
Okay, so yeah, this is a very very valid question. Glad you asked this. See, although the options or the choices are multifold today, but stitching them together and making this or capitalizing on these experiences is becoming very critical. It involves several critical strategies to be tailored together in order to get there. First and foremost would be establishing about a unified customer experience strategy. Now, many of the industry verticals that from Core we work with, many of these industry verticals are very traditional in their approach. Like, for example, if you look at the financial services industry, right, which always depends very heavily on a CX strategy, because from a industry evolution standpoint, the the product has gone through very minor changes. If you even look at the last 100 years of banking evolution, right, you will see that the core product remains the same. You cannot bring in much diversity or much innovation in a product catering to banking or to financial services. But what actually makes a difference, or the key differentiator for brands there, would definitely be the experience that they bring in. So establishing a unified experience strategy is essential for these industries, and these strategies need to define the brand's value, the service standard, and that will also have an impact on the desired customer interactions. um, Building a clear guidelines which can be then communicated to customers for building a cohesive CX strategy becomes the very basic framework. Second would be the design as it flows down or as it goes deeper into the heart of the brand's tech or IT landscape. They're integrating it with technology and systems across different touch points, which becomes very crucial. I'm sorry. So there, if you're able to connect it with multiple enterprise applications where the brand traditionally stores information has probably become a system of records for the brands. Now if you're doing a seamless flow of information that is ensuring that the customer is receiving consistent consistent information or service information, whether they are interacting through your website or mobile application, which are proprietary in nature. But there is also a very high influx of conversation today that's happening on the social applications, on the social messaging applications, or it can also happen at a in person or at a physical location. Now, utilizing all these customer touch points in a singular customer relationship management framework will bring out better understanding of the customer behavior and the preference across channels will also ensure that brands are using this data in a binary flow where you're able to capture the customer information or the customer messaging across channels, able to consume it into the right IT framework, using that rich data to analyze the customer behavior, and then using the same data, using the same touch points, you're able to proactively reach back to the customer with the expectation, meeting the customer expectations. So I think that becomes the second most critical factor there. Then monitoring and measuring the performance of this entire model becomes another key aspect, where you have to establish different metrics like your CSAT scores or NPS scores, and that will also then can be used to track the CX effectiveness across all these different touch points. And this feedback needs to be collected and consumed and analyzed, which will help in identifying areas of improvement and implementing this necessary adjustments or improvement will give a consistent, high performing CX framework for brands.
Certainly. Thanks so much, Neil. I think that was very comprehensive. Now, in the end, I think the final question I'd like to leave the viewers with is, what do you believe are the key elements of a successful CX strategy? And how do they contribute towards a higher ROI and customer retention?
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, right, fostering a culture of continuous improvement is essential in any CX framework, and this involves regularly reviewing the processes of customer data understanding, personalization of interactions, a seamless omni-channel experience, and not only building the experience but delivering the experience, and build and making the customer service more proactive in nature rather than being reactive, because just to understand that we are we are catering to a user group which is used to instantaneous support. So if from a better customer experience, if you're aiming for customer delight, that has to be proactive and that has to be a continuous improvement process. Now, these elements foster customer satisfaction, loyalty, advocacy, and that will lead to a higher ROI through increased repeat customers, reduced churn, and of course positive word of mouth, which is the traditional model of expression of customer satisfaction. And by consistently exceeding the customer expectation by reviewing and analyzing and improving this model is going to resolve issues proactively and promptly for businesses to enhance their brand reputation and differentiate themselves in the competitive landscape, um, which in turn will drive sustainable growth and profitability for the brands.
Certainly. Thank you so much, Neil. It's been a pleasure to have you join us today. And we obviously look forward to meeting you and the Kore.ai team at the Customer Experience Live Show APAC in Singapore in August. Until then, stay safe.
Thanks, Aisha. Thank you so much.
Bye for now.
Bye bye.